Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca, and thank you for joining me for this second practice of 2021. 2020 was such a rough year for most of us, and we felt incredibly off balance. So I think many of us are hoping for finding a little bit more balance in 2021. So, on that premise, I thought it might be a good idea to have a balance practice. You'll need one block for your practice today. So take some time, gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat. So let's begin today in our comfortable seat, just dropping in, landing here in our bodies in this moment with this breath. Begin to breathe slowly and deeply, evening out the breath as you do. Just allow your lungs to fill, your belly to soften, noticing that there's nothing in particular that you need to do here. The body knows exactly how to breathe. And we'll begin to bring a little movement to that breath now. Inhaling the shoulders up to the ears, exhaling, dropping the shoulders down the back. Inhaling shoulders to ears, exhaling shoulders down the back, and feel the natural movement that comes to your body here, rocking slightly forward and back. I'm going to allow this to come to stillness. We'll inhale here, and as we're exhaling, just drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, extending the right side of the neck, dropping the right shoulder away from the ear. Inhaling to center and exhaling, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, lengthening out through the left side of the neck. Left elbow becomes heavy. Inhaling back to center, we'll take the fingertips out to the sides of the mat here. And we'll inhale up through the right arm, really grounding down through the right hip, reaching up through these right fingertips, pressing into the mat with the left hand with some tinted fingers, and then reaching up and over on the exhale. Peeling the shoulder back slightly. And inhaling to come back up, allowing the right fingertips to find the mat. Now, scooping up through the left arm, reaching up through the fingertips, grounding through the left hip, and reaching up and over, peeling the left shoulder back. And we'll allow that arm to swim back down, inhaling up through both hands here, exhaling as we drop to the right side. Inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhale, twisting to the left side. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhaling, we'll allow the hands to find the knees here. And we'll inhale as we draw the shoulders back, letting the tummy come forward. And then exhale, rounding the belly back, rounding through the shoulders, pulling back against the knees, tucking the chin. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, sending that belly button towards the spine. And coming through these seated cat-cows a couple times on your own. And then allow yourself to come back to seated, releasing the legs. We'll come to tabletop. So find your tabletop here. Toes can be rounded under, tops of the feet can be pressed into the floor. Stacking our joints, pulling the front body into the back body, pressing away from the mat here. And we'll begin with a nice inhale. And as we're exhaling, just extend that left leg back, pressing the toes into the mat, stretching out through the left calf. And then really pressing into the right foot and the left hand will allow the inner left thigh to float up towards the ceiling here. And you can stay right here, or if you like, you can reach the right hand out long, sinking that left hip down, coming into this first of our balance poses. Holding it here a couple of breaths, really feeling that opposing motion, fingertips reaching away, heel pressing back. And then on an exhale, slowly and with control, bringing the knee and the hand back to the mat. And now extending on an exhale through those right toes, pressing back through the right heel, continuing to press away from the mat, lifting the front body to the back body. And then allowing that right inner thigh to float up towards the ceiling, extending nice and long through the left fingertips. Holding our balance here, we can bring in a little affirmation. I am more than my doubts and my worries. Good things are coming my way. I am more than my doubts and my worries. Good things are coming my way. And then on an exhale, slowly with control, bringing the hand and the knee back to the mat. We'll allow the big toes to touch, hips shift back, reaching out through the fingertips here, allowing the hips to sink back towards the heels. Remembering this pose is yours. So if there's some other variation you'd like here, invite that into your practice. Maybe find a little natural movement here. And then we'll use the breath to carry us up like a wave, coming back into our tabletop. And then taking our hands, a couple of handprints out in front, rolling the toes under and shifting into our downward facing dog. Knees can be quite bent here if you like. And just begin to gently pedal out through the feet, pressing up and out of the shoulder joints. Allowing the base of the fingers where they meet the hand to press down into the mat, and then gripping slightly with the fingertips to bring that little cupping action underneath the hands, hasta bandha or hand lock. And now allow the heels to come to stillness, sinking down towards the mat. And shift the gaze forward, walking the feet to the top of the mat. And you can keep your fingertips on the floor here or come into a ragdoll, yogi's choice. If you have your fingertips on the floor, you might walk those side to side.
And then we'll come back to center. And if you've come to a ragdoll, bring your fingertips to the floor. And we're going to come into a toe balance here. So keeping those fingertips on the floor, we'll just begin to allow the hips to sink down. And as we do so, the heels will naturally rise from the mat. And you have your choice here of keeping your feet at shoulder width distance, providing yourself with a little more stability. Or if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring the big toes together or even bring the arches of the feet to touch. And once you've found yourself into this little sort of seedling pose, really seal the inner thighs together and engage the abdominal muscles. Lift the pelvic floor muscle, sort of bringing that mula bandha, that root lock, into your practice. And perhaps this is your toe balance here. If you'd like to bring in a little more, you can bring some lightness to those fingertips or bring the hands to heart center, stacking the shoulders over the hips and the hips over the heels. Coming here into our toe balance, continuing to seal those thighs together, maybe moving the arches towards each other, finding your drishti, your focal point. Big deep breath. And then as you're inhaling, come up to stand, finding your way up to samastiti, equal standing pose. Good. Shake that out a little. You can shake out the feet. If you're using a block for today's practice, it's a good time to grab that block and just to keep it handy. And we'll start here at the top of the mat in our equal standing pose. And we're going to come from here into our warrior one. So you can get back to your warrior one in whatever way you like. If you'd like some guidance, you can bring your hands to your hips. We're going to take a big step back with the right foot. I'm already off balance. And allow that right hip to come forward. Stacking the left knee over the left ankle. Inhaling, arms come up. Warrior one, making this a nice, strong pose, pressing the feet away from each other on the mat, pulling up through that pelvic floor, engaging that mula bandha. And then on an exhale, we'll open up to warrior two. So just allow yourself here to readjust your stance in any way that you need to. And then on our next inhale, we'll drop that back hand, inhaling up through the front arm, deepening into that front knee, peeling the fingertips back only if you like, remembering that this is a side extension more than a back bend. Inhaling back to warrior two. We'll exhale, coming into side angle. And if you like, you can windmill that upper arm around and over the ear, coming into extended side angle. Inhaling up to warrior two. We'll extend through that front leg, setting up for our triangle pose here. So shifting those hips out to the side and then allowing ourselves to drop down, maybe finding your block here, maybe finding your shin, and coming into triangle pose. Taking the weight into the outside edges of the feet, peeling those lower ribs up towards the ceiling, maybe taking the gaze toward the thumb, maybe keeping the gaze out forward.
Either way is fine. So we're going to move from this pose into Artha Chandrasana, or half moon pose. So in order to begin that transition, we'll bring the hand around to the back or to the hip, shifting the gaze down toward our supporting hand, bending into that front knee, and taking the block a couple of feet or inches in front of the left foot. Extending out through that right heel. And then if you like, you can extend the right arm up towards the ceiling, maybe shifting the gaze forward, pulling in through the belly button, finding your version of Artha Chandrasana here, knowing that it's okay if you fall out of this pose. Life is a series of becoming off balance and regaining balance. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to shift back through triangle pose. And inhale back up, coming into a wide leg pose here. We'll let all 10 toes face forward. You can place that block now towards the back of the mat. We'll take the hands to the hip crease, maybe wiggle out through the legs slightly. Inhale, bringing the shoulders onto the back, spreading the chest open wide. Exhale, wide leg forward fold. And just allow yourself to drop in here. Nothing special. Bending the knees just ever so slightly, engaging the kneecaps up the front of the legs. We'll just come into a little bit of a twist here, so you can find your expression of this twist, either placing your hand in front of your face or taking one hand to the opposite shin and inhaling up through the other arm. Releasing here, allowing the crown of the head to relax down towards the floor. And we'll bring that lifted arm down, shifting our hand to the other side or switching hands in front of the face, and then inhaling the arm up. Crown of the head relaxes and releases. Releasing that hand back down to the mat. We'll take the knees slightly bent here, placing one hand above each bent knee, inhaling up to stand with a flat back. And we're going to turn out through the toes toward the back of the mat now, inhaling the arms up halfway and exhaling as we move into our warrior two on this side. So take some time to check in with yourself here. Maybe take a look down, imagining there was a plumb line here. Would it go straight through the belly button from the nose? Dropping the back hand, we'll inhale as we reach up through the front arm, finding our balance even here. Deepening into the front knee. Inhaling here and exhaling as we shift into our side angle or windmilling that hand around, coming into our extended side angle. Grounding down through the heel, pressing into the outer edges of the feet, feeling that extension in the side body. And from here, inhaling back to warrior two, we'll extend through that front leg and then shift the hips out to the side as we gather up all the space we can, dropping into our triangle on this side. Nice strong triangle here. Remember reaching those fingertips up, 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 not trying to peel them back, but really finding this stacking, this nice line from the fingertips through the shoulders and down through the supporting hand. And now moving toward our Artha Chandrasana on this side, we'll bring the top hand around behind or to the hip, bending into the front knee, shifting out in front and bringing that left leg up from the floor. Keeping the gaze down if you like, extending that top arm if that feels like part of your practice today. Being okay with wherever you are in this pose. Maybe shifting the gaze forward. Maybe keeping it just as it is. I am more than my doubts and my worries. Good things are coming my way. And allow yourself to come back into your triangle. And then when you're ready, engaging everything, inhaling back up to stand. Hands come down. We'll pivot towards the back of the mat, planting that back foot, deepening into the front knee, inhaling up. Warrior one, ending just as we began. Nice, strong warrior one, pressing forward through that left hip. Inhaling here. Exhaling, hands come to heart center. Good. And now starting here at the back of our mat, we're going to bring the weight into the left foot. So this will be the leg that you were not using before. And if you have your block there, you might want to shift that out of the way. We'll bring the hands to heart center, coming into our equal standing pose. And really find your foundation here. You might want to lift the toes or heels, really press the toes to the floor in that place where they meet the foot. And we'll bring the weight into the left foot, bringing the right foot up, keeping the foot parallel to the floor, coming into one-legged mountain. Finding your focal point here. We're going to shift from here into airplane pose, or if you like, warrior three. So bringing this right foot around behind, allowing the right inner thigh to come up towards the ceiling, shifting that right hip down. If you lose your balance, just come right back. And you can extend the arms out and towards the back for airplane pose, or if you like, bring your hands out in front, coming to warrior three. Breathe. And then slowly, with control, bring yourself back to your one-legged standing pose. And release that right leg down to the floor. Shake out through the legs here. And we'll come to the center of the mat here. We're going to give that left standing leg a little bit of a break. So bringing the weight into the right foot, grounding down through that right foot. We'll turn the toes out, bringing the heel over the ankle, coming into tree pose. And maybe this is your tree today. Or if you like, you can bring that left sole of the foot up to the right calf. And really imagine yourself here moving that left hip down, but keeping that right hip tucked under the body. And if you have a different expression of tree that you'd like to play with here, I invite you to do that now. You can do anything you like with your hands. Finding your focal point, deepening the breath, pressing that left hip down. And then we'll release this back into one-legged mountain. And from here, we'll shift the left foot towards the back, coming into a thigh stretch. Deep breaths here. And then bringing that hand down, we'll shake out through the legs here. Big workout for the legs here today. Can give a little gratitude to them for all the work that they do for us. And you'll see here, I've come back to the top of my mat. So if you haven't joined me there now, you can come here now. And continuing to wiggle out through the legs here, just maybe giving that right ankle a little love here as we prepare to do a little bit more work on the right side. So grounding into that right foot, we'll bring the left foot up parallel to the floor, one-legged mountain. Taking some time here to choose your focal point, pulling that front body into the back body, being cautious to bring a little bend into that right knee. And then when you're ready, shifting forward, left leg comes behind, shining that left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Maybe extending those arms back, maybe losing your balance, that's okay. We're just here to practice. This is yoga practice, not yoga perfect. And if you'd like to come into a warrior 3 here, you can move the hands out in front. Breathe. And then slowly move with control back to your one-legged mountain. Nice deep breath. And exhale. Left leg comes down. Giving that right leg a good rest here. Good shake out. Coming back to the center of the mat. Finding your foundation again. Shifting into our tree pose. This time on the left side. So turning those right toes out. And when you're ready, either keeping those toes on the floor or moving the right foot to the right calf, pressing that right hip down, feeling how that engages the sole of the foot into the calf, choosing here if you want to come into a different expression of tree pose, and doing anything you like with your hands. Legs are tired here, so you may find yourself a little more off balance. Remembering that we learn balance from being off balance. And then when you're ready to come out of your tree, coming back through your one-legged mountain pose, shifting that right leg around behind. And take note here that I intentionally do not edit out from my videos the moments when I come off balance. I think it's important for us to know that there are times when we are all off balance, even yoga teachers. Coming into our thigh stretch here. Big deep breath. And then allowing yourself to come down slowly and with control, shaking out through the legs again here. And then stepping back up to the top of the mat, rolling the shoulders onto the back. Inhaling the arms up overhead. We'll exhale as we come down to forward fold. Really relaxing into the fold here. Taking a moment to stretch out those legs. And then from here, we'll inhale up to tree pose. Sorry, inhale up to chair pose, not tree pose. So inhaling the arms up will allow the hips to sink back, coming into our chair pose. And here you can keep the hands extended up if you like, or bring the hands to heart center. And we'll come up on the toes here, lifting the heels from the floor, feeling this bit of a balance. Again, finding that focal point. And then deep breath here, shoulders coming onto the back. As we're exhaling, we'll just begin to lower slowly and with control. Coming back down to our toe balance. Finding whatever expression of this toe balance works for you. But sealing those inner thighs together. And then if your fingertips are not already on the floor, releasing the fingertips to the floor and using your hands to gently and slowly guide yourself back, coming into Dandasana or staff pose, maybe moving some flesh out of the way, bringing the toes back towards the face, pressing the palms or the fingertips or the fists into the floor. Nice straight back here. And we'll come into one forward fold here, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling to come forward any amount. Just keeping that chest shining forward, back, moving towards being flat here. Imagining that you're extending that belly up and over and laying that belly onto the legs. And you can even bend the knees here if you like, really allowing the belly to lay onto the thighs, stretching out through the hamstrings. And then we'll inhale to come back up, shifting onto the back, bringing the knees into the chest, rolling out if that feels good for you. Inhaling the arms open wide here. We'll exhale as we allow the knees to fall over to the left, looking out over the right shoulder. I am more than my doubts and my worries. Good things are coming my way. Inhale the knees back to the chest. Exhale, dropping the knees to the right side. Gaze coming over the left shoulder if you like. Inhaling the knees back to the chest. And here I invite you to find any last movement that feels good for you. Maybe it's another twist or just hugging the knees into the chest, or maybe you'd like to come to happy baby. Just finding whatever expression here your body would like at the end of this practice. And then when you're ready, from wherever you are, just allowing yourself to extend out long, bringing those shoulders up underneath the back, and coming into Shavasana. If you have a little time today, I encourage you to stay here with your Shavasana. If you need to move on into your day, Move slowly to bring yourself out of this pose when you're ready. And if you like, you can join me, bringing your hands to your third eye center, allowing the thumbs to rest on the forehead. I hope that your yoga follows you off the mat, and may you have a wonderful rest of your day.